Here is. Or George, you want to take a cushion or something because it's, yeah. Oh, there's no more Zafu. There's also this. Okay, so good morning. And you ready to do nothing? Good. That's good. That's good. So if we're online, hello the world. Live streaming. So we begin by taking refuge and generating the enlightened mind attitude. Maybe I wait for everybody to sit. Maybe Wendell, you can push this chair back so that, yeah, it doesn't need to be here.
Somebody might have to sit over here,
Yeah,
or even in this chair.
yeah, on this chair, yes. It's a good idea. Hi, yes. Until I have reached full awakening, I take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By means of beneficial actions such as generosity, may I attain enlightenment in order to benefit beings. Until I have reached full awakening, I take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By means of beneficial actions such as generosity, may I attain enlightenment in order to benefit beings. Until I have reached full awakening, I take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By means of beneficial actions such as generosity, may I attain enlightenment in order to benefit beings. May all beings find happiness in the cause of happiness. May they be free from suffering in the cause of suffering. May they not be separated from the perfect happiness that is free from suffering. May they abide in great equanimity, free from attachment and aversion to those near and far. May all beings find happiness in the cause of happiness. May they be free from suffering in the cause of suffering. May they not be separated from the perfect happiness that is free from suffering. May they abide in great equanimity, free from attachment and aversion to those near and far. May all beings find happiness in the cause of happiness. May they be free from suffering in the cause of suffering. May they not be separated from the perfect happiness that is free from suffering. May they abide in great equanimity, free from attachment and aversion to those near and far. To begin with, let's take a moment to make sure that we're here. Whatever we've been doing so far, we can let it fade away into the past, and what might happen in the future, leave it on hold for now. Just appreciate this moment, the freedom and leisure that is yours in this moment, and make your mind available to notice what is. Now that we are present here, that our body, our mind, and our breath are working together, we're going first to pay attention to our posture. The way we sit has a direct influence on the state of our mind. So it's very important to make sure we're sitting properly. First, we notice the contact with the ground. Whether we're sitting directly on the floor or sitting on the chair, we notice the stability we gain through this contact. We may also have a sense of gratitude for the earth, who is providing us this firm support. Our hands can be resting on our thighs, palm down, or being the meditation gesture, the right hand in the left and both resting in the lap. Our back is straight without unnecessary tension. You may picture the trunk of a large tree, deeply rooted. Shoulders are slightly outstretched, just to ensure that our back is not caving in. And the chin is slightly tucked in, so that the head follows the line of the spine. And as we breathe in and out, we begin to notice some tension in our belly, and we let it go, we let it drop, relax it as we breathe deeply in and deeply out. And then we begin to sense the center of gravity of our body, which is slightly below the navel. Once the timber frame of our body is in the right position, there is no effort, and we can just relax. The spine holds us, and all the rest can relax. Transferring the weight of the body to the ground, who will receive it. Yet this posture is not locked. It can be moving like the tree, with the wind slightly. It's balance that we are trying to establish and sense, and not a fixed and locked and tense posture of the body. Our mouth is relaxed and the tongue is lightly touching the palate. The gaze is directed straight in front of us, slightly downward, in a soft and open vision. If we keep our eyes half closed, but we also can keep our eyes closed if we find it more comfortable. Breath comes and goes mostly through the nostrils. It's a natural movement and we don't have to alter it. Breath will also offer us a reference point towards which we can come back when we are drifting, following trains of thoughts. We simply follow the movement of the breath as it comes in and goes out until we find the balance again in our mind and body. Thoughts and sense perception will arise, of course, and we are not here to block them or prevent them to arise somewhat violently. Just let them be. But relax this old habit of always intervening, controlling, deciding, having to say something about it. Just let it be. In that sense, give your mind a break. We don't have to suppress them. We don't have to follow them either. But of course, old habits die hard. Now and then we notice that we are drifting away, following a train of thoughts. As soon as we notice it, without scolding ourselves or depreciating our meditation, we simply disengage, step back, and drop. Maybe for a while, come back to the breath, following the movement of the breath until the stability and openness and attentiveness are back. Feel free to move or stretch a bit if you need. So I will go on with the explanation of the seventh chapter of the book composed by Shamar Rinpoche called The Path of Awakening. And Path of Awakening, or Bodhi Path, this book is for Bodhi Path, the central column of teachings, the spine of all the teachings, and it deals with mind training. Mind training means to tame the mind, to cultivate the mind into a virtuous and compassionate mind, but also at the same time come to know the mind. Both in its manifestation, the way it manifests, and we could say the psychology, but also more deeply in the sense of what is the stuff mind is made of. What is the stuff manifestation is made of. So that's really the core of this form of teachings the Buddha gave. And in the seventh chapter, there is all sorts of guidance and advices that are given. And this one I'd like to share today is the 48th one, 48th slogan. This text is actually composed of 59 slogans. So this is the 48th. And there's sort of two aspects to it in this slogan. One is don't be impartial. And the other aspect is be thorough. Don't be partial, be thorough. And all of this relates to the practice of mind training. So cultivating mind training has two aspects. One is relational, that's with the world, and that is cultivating loving kindness, compassion for all sentient beings. And there's another aspect which is more inward, more subtle, which is to come to realize the true nature of mind, the true nature of phenomena. And through this realization, this deep insight into the true nature of mind, come to overcome what is our main obstacle, which is ignorance. Mind not knowing itself projects itself in a world of speculations, like I am, therefore you are. And as I see myself from the most important point, I'm superior to you. Therefore, I deserve everything. This is what we call the three problems with the self. The first one is confusion about what the self is, and especially what it is not. And the second one is the arrogance that comes with the self as, well, if I see the world, therefore I'm in the center of the world, at the center of the world. And therefore I'm kind of like an important person from my humble opinion, not so humble opinion. My not so humble opinion, I'm a very important person, right? And then there is all the fixations that comes around the self, which is entitlement. We feel as superior and existent, entitled to this and that. And you not so much. Okay, the problem is everybody feels like this. So that's how conflicts are created. Okay, there is one cookie and two hungry person. We know the story. So because we are basically under the power of ignorance, not knowing, if I want to be a little bit pedantic, I would say nescience, not knowing, all the rest comes. The sense of being superior, the sense of entitlement, self-righteousness, conflict. Okay, so the cultivating mindfulness is to, first of all, cultivate a sense of gratitude for all sentient beings. Understanding that nothing stands in and of itself, but is the collaboration of many factors, whether it is an inanimate phenomena, like a house, or yourself. if it was not, the generosity of your parents, you wouldn't be even here, to think about this. So, the idea of a self-made person is just like an absolute illusion. So we're part of a network, part of an ecosystem that has been very grateful in many ways, sometimes, challenging ways that we didn't really like, and sometimes very loving ways that we've really liked. But anyway, we receive a lot from everybody. So first step is gratitude. When we have gratitude, and the mantra is thank you, by the way, if you want to recite the mantra of gratitude, it's thank you. It's very simple. You can't forget it. So from gratitude comes love, because as we are not fighting for our entitlement based on our preeminence, we look at everybody pretty much like our brothers and sisters. Okay, so we have no more ill intentions or covetousness. We are free from greed. So this non-aggression, ahimsa in Sanskrit, this non-aggression is the basis of love. It's actually love. And so it is peace also, because when your mind is not projecting its insecurity and fear and so on all the time, and when the mind is loving and respecting and grateful, then the world is just friends. So there is no animosity in the mind, which operates on the basis of gratitude. And when we see the suffering of other beings, as we know our own suffering, we understand how much it hurts. And so we have compassion. Literally, we feel like them. Compatos. We suffer in the same way that they suffer. So there is a sense of sharing the same situation, and we understand how much it hurts, and then we are trying to alleviate this suffering. We're trying to work on suffering. That not my suffering, your suffering. There's only one suffering. It's suffering. It hurts, and we try to find a way out of this suffering by understanding where it comes from and the conditions through which it was created. And we try to apply this with intelligence, both to ourselves and to others. We care equally. We sort of, we have a sort of a balance in our distribution of good intentions. So that's what Shantideva calls, Atisha calls equalizing. So that's the first idea. Don't be partial. Don't act with a bias. Don't let your beautiful effort of cultivating the Bodhi path, the path to awakening, enlightened mind attitude, mind training, whatever you want to name it, they're all synonyms. But don't do that with a twist, like, how much is there for me? This kind of thinking should be really banned from your beautiful efforts, because they spoil the beautiful meal you're creating. And the only way to prevent this is to first really work on gratitude. Because when you're grateful, this idea of me first is really irrelevant. So if we don't work on gratitude first, there will be always a little bit of, old habits, and there's always this idea, how much can I get from that, and so everything we do will be a sort of an investment and not an act of unconditional love. I invest so much of my time, my effort, my generosity. I want to have, 5% on it at least, like we have royalties, this term royalties, that's the share you pay back to the king. So I call them ego-ties, like the percentage that should come back to your ego. Okay, so we should be free of royalties. We should be free of ego-ties. And that is only possible for a mind that is grateful. So that's the general idea. Do not be, don't act with a twist or bias. Like I will invest in these people, and these people are not worthy of my effort. You know, and in divided times, like we are like unfortunately experiencing very hardly strongly now, it's always easy to be we are the good ones, and therefore we deserve our love and support and so on, and the other one, the hell with them. But if you're a Buddhist, you feel guilty, you know, so you say bless their soul, bless their heart, but you don't really want them to join you at the table, right? So if you can't do that, then you're biased. And then even as beautiful as your efforts may be and your compassion you think is big and so on, it's actually tainted by preferences. So it's desire, it's attachment. It's not genuine, unconditional. Okay, so that's the first part. Don't be biased, be impartial, equanimous. That's another way of saying it. And the second part of this advice is be thorough. When you're going to cultivate gratitude, just fully cultivate it. You know, do not satisfy yourself with half measure. You know, I've been kind of grateful for an hour today. Yeah, I deserve some rest, you know. Be thorough and really come to understand how come that this mind was not grateful in the first place. What was preventing gratitude from shining in my heart? You know, and then go really deep into that, you know, and because you know, it's like if you visit your dentist and we don't like it, and the guy would just whiten your teeth and not mention the cavities. What kind of dentist is that? You know, you want a dentist that drills in and fill in after. But you really want this to be done thoroughly. And it might hurt a little bit, you know, despite the Novocaine, just like, but this is what a dentist does. And then we should do the same with our mind. We should do really thoroughly try to understand how this mind works. Why do I have difficulties to extend my gratitude to such and such person or such and such situation? And, you know, get to the bottom of this so that if there is something to be abandoned, you can do it. There's something to be discovered that you discover it. So basically the path, the Bodhi path is not just gliding, it's digging. It's really boring. Sometimes it's boring, sometimes it's boring. Okay, but you have to get really to the bottom of it, because that's where you get full awareness and full liberation. So it is sort of like equanimous, therefore broad, and because you have to drill thoroughly, it's deep. So it's a very, very deep movement, vast and deep. So that's why sometimes it's difficult and it feels like it's not moving, because you're not just pushing the leaves on the surface. You're steering up the world from the bottom up to get things that need to be on the surface, exposed to the light of the sun, that is wisdom, and burn, and the gems that are under to be found. So that's this today's advice. Don't be partial and be thorough in your practice. This being said, let's be thorough in our meditation. to conclude, let's share the benefit, quality of our meditation. Through this merit, may I attain true omniscience, then having overcome all harmful, destructive forces, may I liberate sentient beings from the ocean of existence and its turbulent waves of birth, old age, sickness, and death. May the most precious mind of awakening that has not yet dawned now arise. Once arisen, may it never decline, may it continue to increase evermore. Thank you all very much. Thank you, the world. Be happy and a happy new year. See you next week, same time, same channel. Bye. So I see Laurie outside. Maybe she has something to share. Maybe you have